Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Dragonheir SilentGods video. In today's video, I want to talk a little bit about what I believe to be the 10 best support heroes in this game. And when I'm talking about support heroes in this case, I'm talking about people that bring buffs, healings, shield, good stuff that's gonna sustain and help keep your team alive. So for example, if you go over here and click on the supports, we're gonna see that maybe around half of them, or maybe even more, are categorized as support, but they actually bring like some damage or some debuffs, or are actually, some different types of heroes. Like Brody, for example, is a good shield remover and a little bit of a tank. Dane, same thing. He brings debuffs and he brings damage. But I'm not talking about that. What I will be talking about is, like I said, people that bring healing, shields, and all of that good stuff. So I'm gonna start going through these as like, the top 10, but they're not necessarily, this is number 1, this is number 10. I'm just gonna go through them actually in the order that they are on this list, and I'm gonna go through them and explain why I believe they deserve to be in this top 10. However, if you guys see somebody that I'm mentioning and maybe you think they don't deserve to be on the list, or if you think I skipped somebody that deserves to be on the list, leave it in the comments below, and as usual, tell me who would you take out of the top 10 to bring the one that you are mentioning, okay? So let's start at the top. I'm just going to go through them like in the order they appear over here, and the first one that I'm going to talk about is going to be Adolphus. The reason why Adolphus is so good is because he brings some damage, but he also brings some shields based off of the target's max HP and enlightenment. On the ultimate, it's it's not the craziest area, but it can be good if you have your people grouped together, or if the people that you want to get at shields are more like towards the front and grouped together, it can be really massive. Then on the battle skill does the same thing. He brings a shield, also increasing their ultimate energy, but he also has a fun passive that says if the target already has a shield, then he's gonna additionally heal them by 75% of the shield that he would grant. So if you just stack him with a lot of enlightenment, he's gonna be amazing. You don't really care about HP because it's the target's max HP and not his. So yeah, just stack him with enlightenment and he should be doing a pretty good job for your team. Now, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna try and keep it as quick as possible. Let's go over to the next one, and the next one on this list would be, I'm not going to talk about Liko, because she's one of the ones that you get from doing 60 stages in the Pillar of Trials, but she's more DPS and debuffs and just one heal on the battle skill, so I'm not really going to mention her. But the next one is going to be Sifris. The reason why Sifris is amazing is she's one of the very few revivers in the whole game, and she definitely deserves to be on the list, even though her kit is a bit quirky. So on her ultimate, she consumes 30% of her max HP and resurrects 2 random allies at 30% of their XP of their HP and grants them 75% of their ultimate energy, and she grants defense up to all allies. So even if you do not revive, she can still grant the defense up to everybody, so this is pretty good. Then on the battle skill, again, consumes her HP and heal all other allies by 20% of max HP, which again, this one is her max HP and it's full board, so you do not have to care about placing it in the right spot. You just need to be careful because she consumes so much HP that you either need another healer alongside her, or you need that set that basically heals her every time she does the ultimate. So she's a bit of a different one, but she can be amazing because of the heals. And then on the passive, when her HP drops below 30%, she gains restoration at death for 10 seconds. I don't really know what the recharge time of this one is, but I think it only happens, because I haven't tested her much, I think it only happens once. So for the first time she drops under 30%, she puts resurrection on death, which means if she's gonna die, she's just gonna come back to life. But Sifra is definitely a really amazing one that you should be investing on if you don't have a lot of better options. Next one, we're gonna move to Garion, which is, again from Poison. There's gonna be, I think there's like 3 of them that are from the Poison element that are really good. But what Garion brings is he brings a Nexus for 8 seconds that heals allies by 1% of their max HP. And again, it also scales off of Enlightenment, so you're going to try and give him some Enlightenment. On the battle skill, he heals the ally with the lowest HP by, again, target max HP and Enlightenment, and also grants them debuff immunity. So this could be really helpful, for example, if you're going to use him in, he's going to be helpful everywhere, but if you specifically use him in the Grave of Venom, where the tank is going to be at the front, he's going to take a lot of damage, this is going to help because he's going to be healed, and he's going to get debuff immunity, which means he's not going to be taking that defense penalty from the side ad. He also has a passive that For each ally with less than 50% HP on the field, he will gain 1 stack of recharging speed boost. And on top of that, for each ally with less than 20%, he gains an extra stack of that one. So basically, he's just going to be coming back to his ultimate and his battle skill more often the lower your team is going. So he can definitely scale pretty well. And I guess he brings an aura, but it's only for City of Trials, so that's not, you know, it's not that impressive. Next one is going to be Vook. I really love Vook because he's a little bit more versatile in a sense of the fact that he brings an AoE dispel of 2 debuffs, okay, and it's a full board, so it doesn't matter where you place him. And he also heals everybody by 15% of their max HP, and for each debuff successfully dispelled, that heal is going to increase by 25%. Not only that, but he also brings an attack penalty too on the battle skill. That's a 100% chance. So not only does he bring you survivability with the heals and cleansing, but he also brings attack penalty too, which is massive because, you know what, almost every single boss fight, if not all boss fights, you kind of want to have that attack penalty so you can survive those hits. And then on the passive, when he's inflicted with a debuff, there's a 100% chance of inflicting accuracy penalty on the debuff caster for 5 seconds. I've not really seen the place in the game where this one can be effective, but I guess, I don't know. If you guys know a spot where you used him and that one came in clutch, leave it in the comments below because I'm really curious. As an example, I tried to use him in the Grave of Wrath, but the timing between the debuffs that the boss does is 6 seconds. So by the time the boss comes back to the second one, this one's like, this one did not take effect, or at least what I tested. You know, it didn't help, so I could stop the second debuff landing. But Vook definitely deserves to be on the list. Next one is going to be Ecutle. I'm quite sure I'm killing the name. It's a weird one, but she's not one of the best. I'm guessing it's a she, because when they're like the skinnier lizard, it's female ones. But what she brings is a defense in all battles by 24%, which is helpful. Then on the ultimate, grants defense up to all allies in that range for 10 seconds, and it heals them if they're under 50% HP by 10% of their max HP, and by enlightenment. So you're gonna stack some enlightenment, and then obviously that heal is gonna be bigger. On the battle skill, it deals some damage, but it also removes all shields and has a chance to dispel a buff. So this can be helpful for some, you know, for some other stuff as well, such as like the Grave of Curse, where you want to dispel that shield. Then on the battle skill, when an ally casts an ultimate, the hero grants them a shield based off of 10% of their max HP and enlightenment for 5 seconds. So again, this one can help getting some shields on them just to be able to survive more. As long as you stack a ton of enlightenment, this is going to be a good shield, and if they're under 50% HP, it's going to be good, you know, good healing as well. Like I said, she's not the best, but she's one of the top 10 ones that I have found to be useful. Now, the next one that's actually pretty amazing is going to be Nathaniel, and the reason why he's so good is he does damage in you know, in a pretty decent area, but at the same time he grants everybody a shield based off of 10% their max HP, 1,800 enlightenment, and defense up 1 to all allies in that, you know, in that area for 10 seconds, and also for each enemy hit by the skill, the shield increases by 10%. This can be massive. This can be really good. Then on the battle skill, he has a dispel of debuffs, 1 debuff from all allies within range, and grants them 1 stack of recovery over time. So for a battle skill to cleanse 1 debuff from everybody and add them recovery over time, this is massive. The only downside is they have to be within range of him. So the way that you would do this is you would obviously have him positioned, or like have everybody positioned, like, you know, grouped up together, and this can be really helpful. Also on the passive, when a buff expires or is dispelled from any target on the field, so, you know, doesn't matter if it's yourself or the enemy, heals the ally with the lowest HP by 5% of max HP. It's his max HP, okay? If it just says max HP, it means it's his max HP. This can only take effect once every 1 second, which is, you know, that's pretty good. So he can bring some amazing healing, and then he also brings an HP in all battles aura by 24%. So Nathaniel, definitely an amazing one that's worth building. Now, the next one we're going to talk about is going to be from Radiant, and that's Katherine. She's basically Hexandra. This is how Hexandra used to look in the closed beta in the Season 0 server, and she's basically Hexandra improved, if we're going to look at her kit. So first thing, ultimate heals allies within range by 10% of their max HP and 2,500 enlightenment, and grants them debuff immunity. So this can be really helpful for Vortex, for Grave of Wrath, you know, wherever you get the debuff immunity to be useful, and also getting healing. So this one's massive. Then on the battle skill, he's the ally with the lowest HP by 15% of the target's max HP and enlightenment. So again, stacking a lot of enlightenment is going to be helpful, and also grants them defense up 2 for 5 seconds. So being a battle skill, this is going to be useful, and this is going to be a ton of healing. And then on the passive, when the ally's HP is fully restored, 15% of the overflowing healing from the hero is converted into a shield. So the survivability that she brings is going to be massive, because, you know, even if it's just 15%, that's a lot of damage that you're gonna not take on the actual HP of the hero. So this one's gonna be really good. So Katherine definitely deserving being on the top 10. Now the next one is going to be, actually, let me see, yep, it's going to be Theia. So Theia's a little bit of a different one. I recently built her on my main account, and I think I'm gonna have a video coming out later tonight, so keep an eye, later today, so keep an eye out for it. And she's really useful, for example, in the Grave of Wrath. I used her in a free-to-play-ish friendly team to beat Grave of Wrath 9, okay? And the reason why she's so good is because of this one. She grants invisibility and debuff immunity to all ranged allies, and then she deals a pretty solid amount of damage with a, what's this, 85% chance of inflicting healing prohibition for 10 seconds. So the debuff immunity is really helpful, like I mentioned, for Grave of Wrath, because that boss throws a lot of debuffs. And it can also be helpful in Temporal Vortex, if we're talking about stage 4, because you can block, with this one, you can block the defense penalty. That can be huge. Then on the battle skill, heals the ally with the lowest HP and the allies with invisibility by 200% attack and 2000 enlightenment. Each ally can be healed 1 time per cast. So if you think about it, the way her kit works, you're gonna have this invisibility almost all the time, because, you know, it's on a 16 seconds recharge time when it's fully scrolled up. So that's massive. You know, most heroes in the game have like a 20 for like the full recharge time or higher. So being 16, this is just huge. So because they're gonna be under invisibility, she's just gonna keep healing them a ton. Or, for example, you can pair her, Theia, with somebody else that brings an AoE invisibility, such as like, I think his name is Torren, because they changed them from Sylvester, Torren or Mithrasia. So this can be massive healing for everybody. And then on the battle skill, she has self-sustain, grants invisibility to the hero for 5 seconds when taking damage higher than 10% of the max HP. In addition, allies under invisibility, this is massive, takes 15% less damage. So it does not have to be her invisibility. It can be anybody else placing invisibility, and she brings straight up damage mitigation. So Theia's amazing. Also, she brings an ally accuracy boost in all battle in dungeons by 50. So Theia definitely want to keep an eye out for. I really like her. I'm really happy I built her to test. So again, keep an eye out for later tonight. I'm gonna post a video on that one. Now the last ones are gonna be 2 ones that, you know, they're not gonna be, at least she's not gonna be the best, but she's a quirky one, and again, she can be a pretty decent support, and that's Estella. Well, what she does is she grants, I guess let's start with the passive, because that's where the interesting side is. So marks the ally with the lowest HP at the start of combat, increasing their received healing and shield by 25%. So this one's usually going to be your DPS, okay? They're going to have the lowest HP because they're going to have a lot of damage. So this is going to help, you know, whenever they get healed or shielded, to get more, you know, to get more sustained so they don't die as fast. But then on the ultimate, casts a spell for 6 seconds. It's a full board, granting healing by 0.5% max HP, so that's her max HP, and 175% enlightenment to the hero, and 0.8% max HP and 350% enlightenment to the ally with the lowest HP every 0.2 seconds. So that's gonna happen a ton. During this period, prioritizes healing the ally without full HP. So obviously this is gonna be helpful to sustain herself and then another hero. You know, it's not gonna be good for full board, but like I said again, maybe in places like the Grave of Venom, where you have the tank that should take most of the damage, this can be really helpful to keep that tank alive. And also on the passive, grants debuff immunity and defense up 2 to the ally for 5 seconds. This skill prioritizes marked allies marked by the hero. So this one's usually gonna protect the, like I said, the squishiest one, the DPS. So it might not be as helpful unless you kind of have everybody to have high HP, and maybe your tank is just high defense and low HP. And then this one can be amazing again for the Grave of Curse to keep them alive. She's kind of deserving to be, you know, number 9 towards the top if you would like rank them as how good they are. But, you know, she's a quirky one. If you don't have better ones, she can be amazing. And then the last one that I have on the list is actually going to be Gladros. Well, he's another one of those interesting ones because what he brings is he does some damage based off of attack and his he grants a shield based off of his attack and his max HP, because again, if it doesn't seem target's max HP, it's his max HP, to each ally within range for 10 seconds, and any ally under this shield gain debuff immunity. So he's basically gonna be good, again, for places where you want debuff immunity and some sustain from the shield. A good example, again, is going to be Temporal Vortex. You cast this before the Vortex does the second AoE on the, on stage 4, the 4th difficulty, where he places debuff, defense penalty, and this is going to be helpful a ton, because this one stays for the whole duration of the shield. So as long as you can have that shield be good enough so that he does not, from the first hit he takes it off and then the second one lands debuff immunity, the defense penalty, this can be good. On the battle skill, this is a little bit of a quirky one. Deals 300% attack necrotic damage to the enemy with the highest attack, with a 100% chance when fully scrolled up of stealing 25% of their attack for 5 seconds. The stolen attack is capped by 50% of the hero's attack. So, that's kind of like a way of landing, I guess, the attack penalty, the lower version, because you're not decreasing it, you're just stealing that attack. And stealing the attack helps him deal more damage and place bigger shields. Then on the passive, when an ally with a shield is inflicted with control, dispels their shield for an immunity to the control, which can help. As an example, let's say you go into Ancient Battlefield and the person that's furthest away gets hit by the boss to try and be stunned. If you don't have a lot of resist on that one, but you have this shield, that stun's not going to happen. It's going to be cleansed, and that means the boss is going to get backfire. So he's a little bit quirky, but he can definitely have a good use in the game. And he also brings a resistance aura in Grand Gladiator Arena. But yeah, I think this is gonna be, this is the list. I guess some honorable mentions for Zarloth, because he brings damage and healing. He can be really good for stuff like that. And the same thing for Varesh. He does, he does damage, but then the passives, they can bring some healing. So they can have that extra utility, but they're not full-on supports for healing and supporting like everybody else. But yeah, I guess this is gonna be it for the video today, guys. Again, if you see that somebody is not on the list that you believe deserves to be on the list, just leave it in the comments below. I guess another honorable mention at the end, let's go to the defense ones, that maybe should have made the list, and like now I'm seeing it myself. Maybe I should have taken 2 people off, and I should have brought in people like Garius, because you know what, his heal is massive. So Garius maybe deserves to be on the list, because he brings an insane amount of heal, especially with his passive, where he keeps boosting his passive. And then another one that maybe should have made the list is Fruitbath, okay? Because Fruitbath, same thing, on the passive, he brings a ton of healing, plus he brings healing on his, battle skill brings healing, and then he can bring healing on the passive, plus attack penalty on the ultimate. But I guess they're more of a tank, so now that I'm looking at it, I might have been like, maybe I should have just removed Estella, I think, from the list. And who else? Ecutle, because it's not a Critias and Gladros. So maybe I should have brought Fruitbath, Garius, and maybe even Isolde. Because Isolde, same principle. She can bring shield attack penalty, but then after that, she's more sustaining herself. But anyway, I guess this is going to be it for the video today, guys. Like I said, as always, if you do enjoy my content, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel to see when I upload next, and I'm going to see you on the next one. Peace, love, take care, everyone. Bye, guys.